I did a query. I got 41 names. I wrote them all in a letter after doing a personality assessment on them. And I said, I am Tom Chenault. I just moved to Niwot. I need more friends. I'd love to buy your breakfast at Niwot Market because it's under $10. It's the best breakfast you've ever had in your life. Of the 41 names, 36 of them said, I'll do it. First guy was a guy that was a venture capitalist that lived in New York City. He owned 23 signed Picassos, a car collection, a shotgun collection, and a wristwatch collection. And he was absolutely lonely, sick as a dog, and said, I would do anything to have something to do. I moved to Boulder, Colorado to be near my grandkids. I'm miserable. I miss my life in New York City as a big businessman. What can I do? And I said, I have an idea for you. Why don't you partner with me and change the world? And that's what we're doing.
Welcome to MLM Nation, a podcast of leaders, by leaders, for leaders, hosted by Simon Chan. He's built a team of over 200,000 and is now a full-time MLM coach and trainer. So if you're ready to level up your business, join us now. Let's do this.
MLM Nation, this is Simon Chan. I'm fired up to bring out a special guest today, someone as a good friend, very dear to my heart. I'll tell you why in a little bit. But we have the legend, Tom Chenault. Hey, Tom, are you ready to make it happen?
Never been more happy to be on a podcast in my entire life, Simon. I'll never forget the time I met you in that lobby after GoPro and everybody's running up to me. And here came Simon with his snazzy, you were such an early adopter to podcasting and interviewing. And I just knew in my heart that you were going to become the giant that you are, and you are. I mean, it's just incredible. I am pumped up, Mr. Baseball. I love you.
Hey, thank you so much, Tom. And I will share a little bit more about that story and how Tom and I met. But for those who don't know, Tom Chenault has built a career teaching people relationship skills and is a network marketing legend who's earned millions in lifetime commissions. His philosophy, and if you know him, it just touches your heart. It's like treating people as human beings first instead of prospects. Has let him create connections, just like me and Tom, at every social level in countries around the world. Tom is also the author of the Coffee Shop Interview, hosts the Legacy Leadership Podcast, which I've been honored to be on. And then along with his son, Adrian, who's another awesome dude, Tom and Adrian built a phone app and a company called Contact Mapping. And I think if you ask Tom, one of his biggest accomplishments is being sober for the last 35 years. I've had Tom on numerous occasions on MLM Nation podcast. This is his fourth time. Episode 200 was the first, and then episode 581, 664, and recently 802, we re-aired the legendary podcast we did in episode 200. Anyway, Tom, welcome to MLM Nation. For those who don't know, really quickly, how did you get into network marketing?
I came from I was a restaurant guy, and I was very, very successful in the restaurant business and knew everybody on the planet and became a big drinker. So I finally drank myself out of the restaurant business. My dad told me, Tommy, that's what he called me. He said, you got to get out of the restaurant business. It's turning you into an alcoholic. I said, well, what should I do? He said, well, sell something to rich people. So I'm trying to think of what I could sell to rich people because I didn't even know rich people. I didn't think. And all of a sudden, I realized my last name was a famous aviation name. And so that was Chenault of Claire Chenault of the Flying Tigers. So I said, what the heck? I think I'll go sell airplanes. And so I walked into Beach Aircraft Corporation, which is the Cadillac of the sky. And I looked at the guy and said, I want a job selling airplanes. He said, how many hours do you have? I said, I've never been in a small airplane. He said, why on earth would I hire you to sell airplanes when you've never even been in a small airplane? And you think I'm crazy? I go, no, I don't think you're crazy, sir. I think you'd be very smart to hire me. He said, why is that? I said, because you're out there trying to teach those pilots to sell that are just wasting your gas. Why don't you teach a salesman to fly? He said, you're absolutely right. And he sent me out and he said, you solo and I'll hire you. And I said, how much money do I get if I solo and I get my private pilot's license? How much money will I make? And he told me how much. And I said, you know what? I can do that. I said, he said, you're going to have to get your pilot's license. I said, well, what's that entail? He said, well, the written is a written test that's pretty hard. And then on the other side of that is the learning to fly part, which is pretty hard. But you have to have both of those components before you have a job with us. I said, when is the next written test? He said, tomorrow. And I said, tomorrow. He said, yeah. And I said, well, do you have the books? He said, yeah. I said, can you get me in the class? He said, why? I said, because I think I want to proctor the test. And the guy goes, okay, well, I can probably get you in and you can look at the test. And then in a month, you can take it after you've read the books and stuff. I said, fine. But I was so broke. And this is kind of the story of my life. I had the gift of desperation. I needed money so badly that I stayed up all night long and literally memorized that book. And I walked in, I took that test. I passed it, having never been in an airplane or knowing anything about aeronautic, anything, but I locked it in my brain. It made sense to me, so it made sense to the test takers and the test answerers. I passed the test, and the next day on Monday, I walked in, I said, well, I passed the written. What do I do now? And he said, go out and to Jeffco Airport and learn to fly. So I went out there, moved it extremely fast because I had to. I was desperate. And the next thing you know, I am an airplane salesman selling airplanes all over Montana and Wyoming. And I was good at it. They taught me to ask for giant money from rich people and to use my contacts from the restaurant business to find those people, which is what I did, Simon. So the next thing you know, I'm a stockbroker. I'm an airplane salesman. I drank myself out of the airplane business because nothing is worse than a drunken airplane salesman. And I went from there. I came home. They fired me again. Took them about 4 days to catch me because I had an airplane and I was on the run. And they finally caught up with me, a guy named Ernie Reese, and he fired me. And he was all mad at me because I was such a drunk and I was wasting their gas and wasting their money. And I became a penny stockbroker. And it was the same thing. I took all the clients from my restaurant life. I took all the clients from my airplane life, and I became a stockbroker. And that was that. I was a very, very successful stockbroker. And I made millionaires out of people, Simon, which was pretty good, except for the fact that they used to be multi-millionaires. So I shrunk their, yeah, it was terrible. I was a terrible stockbroker too. I drank myself out of that and finally realized I had to reinvent myself. And I got out of there and I didn't know what I was going to do. And in the interim, I quit drinking. This was in 1988. And I got a sponsor in Alcoholics Anonymous. And the guy said, Tom, you got to stop doing what got you drunk in the first place. I thought he meant quit my job. So I quit my job. I weighed about 400 pounds. I was gigantic and I was purple and unemployable. And it was bad, 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 bad. At the end of and I lived in a country club. I'd made all that money. And now I am like, I don't have a dollar. And all of a sudden, somebody called me on the phone. Actually, I saw an ad, and it said unlimited income opportunity. It said no credit check, no background check, start tomorrow. And I called the guy on the phone, Eric McKelvey. I said, is it true? He said, what? I said, all those things in your ad. He said, yeah. I said, I want to do it. He said, why? I said, because I have to do it. He said, I'll send you some information. I said, no, you won't. He said, why? He said, because I'm coming. I said, because I'm coming to your house. And I drove over to his house. He had like 20 cats. I can't stand the smell of 20 cats. I held my nose. I sat at a table. I gave him $600 for 5 skincare kits in a network marketing company. And the rest is history. I'm walking out the door. I said, where can I get more of these kits? He said, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. That was pretty funny because I had one of those brick cell phones in 1988 and I drove home. And by the time I got home, I'd sold all 5 of those skincare kits. Why? Because I'd written a hot check. So I had to do it. And I signed people up. I jumped into this company. I was a rising star. They loved me to death. I was telling lies right and left, just exactly like the brokerage business. And somebody walked up to me and said, Tom, you are going to go broke enthusiastically in network marketing and you're going to take other people with you. And you got to change your ways. Because I'm telling you, you might have been a good stockbroker. You might have been a good airplane guy. You might have been a good restaurant guy. But I'm telling you what, the skills that you learned there were basically to take. And you need to learn how to give. And I heard the guy. And I went home and I thought about what I was doing and what I wanted to be when I grow up. And basically what I wanted to be, and this is so important, I've never said it on a podcast before. I wanted to monetize Alcoholics Anonymous because I came home when I walked into AA. I walked in the door the first time and I knew I was home. I knew those people could help me get sober. And I went to a meeting every day and I found a sponsor and I read the book and I did the 12 steps. And I just ground it out hard with just unbelievable people helping me every inch of the way. And I finally got done with all those steps. And I looked at my sponsor, a homeless guy out of Montrose, Colorado. I said, I've done it. I've gone through the 12 steps. What do I do now? And he looked at me and said, here's what you do now. You go help other people. And that's all network marketing is. You learn the skills and then you go teach the skills. There's nothing else there. So I said, this is unbelievable. And so that's what I did. And I went, so then all of a sudden I'm being that jerk and just firing, throwing up on people. And I just came home and I thought, you know what? I got to figure out a way to do this like inside of my integrity and network marketing. I have to have that Alcoholics Anonymous integrity. So I basically merged what they do in AA with network marketing. And what you have sitting here right now is a human being that treats people like human beings, not prospects, where I drop people off right where they want to be instead of where my agenda sends them. And I'm the happiest, most congruent, integrous guy I always wanted to be. I'm finally that guy, Simon. And I know for a fact today, I can teach people to do that.
Well, you definitely do, because I think one of the things you're really good at it is relationship building, right? So I'll give you an example, and you can talk a little bit more about that. And you can talk a little bit about pinging and get in touch. So with Tom, when I first got to meet him, and after I had him on a podcast, every couple of months, he reached out to me, random texts, and just talking about how he appreciates me. He loves me. He appreciates for what I do. Sometimes you always mention something about my boys and baseball. And I remember the first time I got that message. And by the way, Tom, I know we've never really done any business together. Right? We've never done any business together with whatever. But I promote your company, contact mapping and stuff. And just to let you know, the reason we don't promote that many things, but the reason I promoted contact mapping, and it was one of the first things we promoted years ago, was solely because of the fact I trusted Tom, right? And so getting back to that is, I remember getting that first message. It really touched my heart. Like, oh my God, Tom Chenault really cares. And even to do this day, and you can talk about your routine and how you do it, what specifically you do. And I was just sharing this with someone. Like, when you text me, like I've gotten this over the years now. It's been, I actually looked at the first time we had you on the show was June 2016. So almost 8 years, right? I know what Tom is doing. Tom is just standing, like he has a list of people. He messages, he's like, Simon's chance. Today's the Simon chance turn. He sends a message to me. I know what he's doing, but I still can't help it. I'm human. It's still, I have a huge smile and love for you. And every time there's Tom again, I know this, wow, I feel special. And you have the gift of making people special. So talk a little bit about that. I think the reason why a lot of network marketers are stuck is like, they just want it now, right? And then and by the way, and you can talk a little bit more about this too. Tom and I, we just saw each other 2 weeks ago as of this recording at Rob Sparrow's Leaders of Leaders Mastermind. And you weren't even supposed to speak, but you just gave up probably the best training there for 5 minutes to touch my heart. But anyway, I can go on and on about you, but talk a little bit about relationship building, because most people think short term, but I think you're the epitome of like a long term, just give value and love on people.
The only reason that you have that short-term mentality, in my opinion, Simon, is that you don't have enough people in the queue. And every network marketing professional that I know says, talk to people every day. Well, I agree with that. Not talk at people, talk to people. And I use something called the coffee shop interview, which is where I find out everything about people. I find out about their money, their time, their health. A lot of you guys call it form, you call it all kinds of stuff. But what I do in that interview is make sure I understand what people want to buy, and I figure out what they don't want to buy in the interview. And then I just put them in my database in that contact mapping he's talking about. And at the next point from that is they're in my phone, and then I hit save, and it pops up and says, when are you going to follow up with, when are you going to remember Simon Chan? And never is not an option. So he said every couple months, let's just use that. So on a 60-day rotation, I put Simon on that rotation to remember, because Simon's not a prospect this minute. He's my dear friend. He's not a prospect, but I want to make sure he knows I remember him. And if I hit him with one of the cornball posts, like everybody else does, or a group text, he's going to say, that is unauthentic. But when I ask him about his boys, one of the ones that's probably going to make it to the majors, his other wonderful son, and his dog and his wife, all of a sudden he's knowing that I'm actually thinking about Simon and there's no agenda tied to it. And he likes me a little more. So the day is going to come when something happens, when Simon needs my help or I need Simon's help. And I've got a relationship that is built and cultivated every couple of months with just a phone hug instead of the perpetual follow-up that everybody has. And on any given day, I have to remember a lot of people because I've got 17,800 people in my phone. So that's a lot of people. But I'm guaranteeing you one thing right now, nobody's better connected who has a more alive database than Tom Chenault. It's my only redeeming thing. And so what I try to build with everybody, Simon, is the BLTs, just like my shirt. BLTS. What's that stand for? Simon Chan knows he belongs in my tribe. Simon Chan knows I love him. Simon Chan knows he can trust me. And Simon Chan knows he's safe with me. So Simon Chan, because we've got all four of those together, anything Simon Chan calls me on the phone about, I'm going to do. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say, clear the pitch. How much? Or who's in trouble? How do I help? Because we've got the BLTSs. Every one of you watching this need to look inside of your 20 closest friends, your 50 closest friends, your 100 closest friends, your thousands closest friends, and look for the BLTs with them. Where are they? And if they're not there, where's the breakdown? Because you're trying to build a dynasty here. And it's only going to take you 4 people to build that dynasty, not 4,000, 4 people, maybe 8, maybe 12, maybe who cares? But the name of the game is this is a numbers game, but it isn't. The person who develops the BLTs the best wins. I'm telling you, with my friends, I could take over a country. I promise you, because we are united together deeper, far deeper than a company of vitamins and minerals or a company of technology or a company of anything else. I am not Tom Chenault, the co-founder of NowSight. I am not Tom Chenault, the co-founder of Contact Mapping. I am not Tom Chenault, the individual with a huge 1 million-person organization in network marketing. You know what I am? Tom Chenault. That's it. All I am is Tom Chenault. All that other stuff is what I do. And if I can get you to fall in love with Tom Chenault and understand Tom Chenault's in the foxhole with you, the party's over. And if we could get past that agenda of who we are is what we do, and instead who we are is involved with the person across the table, in love with their story, not our own, it all changes immediately because they can sense the fact that I care about them. They can sense the fact that you care about them. I know about your kids, Simon. I know about your wife. I know about your love of your wife. I know about everything. And I love that I know that about you because you're on the list. And I want to be on your list. What you've done for my son is unbelievable because Simon is an accomplished baseball coach. Adrian just became the baseball coach for his son's baseball team. He didn't call my cousin John Miller, who's in the Hall of Fame with the San Francisco Giants, for advice. He called Simon Chan. And Simon Chan rose to the occasion and said, here's what I did. Here's what you need to do. This is so important, you guys. So all of a sudden, the team's not doing so good a couple of weeks ago. Adrian picked the phone back up and said, Simon, it's not clicking with these kids. What do I do? And Simon helped him again. How can I not love and be willing to do anything for Simon Chan? That's got nothing to do with network marketing. That's got something to do with my grandson. My grandson's one hell of a lot more important to me than network marketing. Thank you, Simon.
No, you're welcome. And I think that, giving value and teaching our youth baseball was easy because that's something I love. And I'm obviously pretty decent at it, right? I love to do it. And I think the lesson for everyone who's watching this on YouTube or listening to this, like sometimes we feel like we all know we have to be a person of value. And you're so short-term thinking, like Tom says, like the value is connected to my nutritional products, my business. No, the value could be anything. For me, value, Adrian was talking about how to run practices for 6 and 7-year-olds. Right? There's so many where you're listening to, you have some value to give. It doesn't need to be related to business, but you got to play the long-term game that Tom talks about. Now, your BLTS, what is those? What do they stand for again? Because some people
Belong,
see
love, trust, and safe.
belong, love,
You belong
trust.
in my tribe. I love you. You love me. I trust you. You trust me, and safe. I'll tell you a fast story about Gary Keogh. I grew up with Gary Keogh. He
Who's
has
Gary
done
Keogh, for those who don't know? Gary Keogh.
he's nobody. He's my friend. And I was raising money for contact mapping. And so I called all my friends who had money. And Gary Keogh's wealthy. And I said, Gary, give me 25 grand, man. He goes, no. I go, what? He goes, I don't care about it. I don't want to know. I'm not giving you 25 grand. I could not believe my ears. We are close friends. I was in his wedding. I went, this is the craziest thing I've ever heard. And it bothered me because I knew one of these was missing. So after I got done raising the money and got done hating Gary Keogh, I called him on the phone. I said, Keogh, you love tech deals. You got tons of dough. You know I'm not going to lose. Why did you not give me the 25 grand? And he said, guess why? I go, I can't imagine. I'm really upset about it. I don't need your money, Gary, but it bothers me you didn't give it to me. He said, here's why. He said, when you were getting sober in Columbine Country Club many, many years ago, in 1989, everybody was getting one of those Nordic track machines. And I had one of those and I loved it. And you loved it. And you came to my house and you said, I would love to have one of those, but I don't have the money. And I said, I remember telling you that. He said, do you remember that I gave you my credit card and you went and bought a Nordic track? I go, no. He said, that's where you got it. I gave you the money. And after that, you told me you were going to pay me back when you got the money. And I said, I did. He said, yeah. I said, did I ever pay you back? He said, no. He said, I am so sorry. I said, I know. It just cost you $25,000. Believe, trust.
Wow.
One of those was missing.
Powerful story. 17,800 people on your phone. So how many of those did you actually recruit into your business?
Funny question. Richard, somebody asked me about it, Eric or Richard Rook, and I know for a fact that I've got at least 3,000 that I personally enrolled, but I've given away so many more enrollments than that. So the number is much, much higher than that, Simon. And it's astronomical. And today I'm just a tour guide and a talent scout. I finally figured out that my job is to drop people off where they want to be, not where my agenda takes them. So now I drop people off in different companies. I drop them off in different industries. I do everything I can to serve the person across the table, especially the individual trying to get off alcohol or drugs. So that's my golf game. And so my job is completely to serve. And I must have made some deal with God whereby I agreed to help alcoholics and drug addicts and homeless people. And God said he was going to help me make a living. And God's done a much, much bigger job. And all I do is just do what I know I should do, which is the next right thing. So I'm done trying to trick people into signing up or anything like that. My job is to make their life better, no matter what, to the best of my ability. So I am an enrolling machine, and I'm clear about one thing. I am not a network marketer like the normal network marketer. My clarity is this. I sell hope. End of story. That's all I sell. So at the end of the day, my job is to change their life by letting them believe in themselves at a level they've never believed in themselves again. Because I finally came to this, and I said this in Hawaii, and it was part of an ongoing revelation. You know, the systems are great, the products are great, the companies are great, the whole shooting match. But unless you believe it, like I believe it, you're probably not going to be successful. So my job is to send people to Simon Chan and get them to believe like Simon believes, like I believe. And if I can, they're going to figure out the answer if they've got the belief. You can, I look at all these systems and I look at all these click funnels and all this crazy stuff going on. And it's finally clear to me what I'm good at. And that's hope and belief. And that's what I sell. That's who I am. And that's what I want you people to believe.
Now, how have you seen related to that? When did you get started? 89? 88?
Yeah. I got sober on September 29th of 1988, and I started messing with it about then. And the rest is history. Yeah.
How, for better and worse, how have you seen the profession change?
It changes all the time. That's such a smart question, and nobody's asked me that question. And the more it changes, the more it's the same. So right now you've got the world. We had COVID come along, which changed everything. It brought us all home to Zoom. And then at the end of the day, everybody's coming back with all these whiz bang affiliate programs, all this stuff that on surface were really, really great. But you start diving deep into it, it's about the people. There is no trick to it, whether it's a stock trading program, whether it's a crypto trading program, whether it's some sort of whiz bang thing that's going to trick people into signing up with you. I promise you one thing, you can bring a ton of people in. And I hate it when people say, guess how many people I signed up last month? I don't care how many people you signed up last month. I care how many people you changed their life last month, because the enrollment is the important thing, not the sales. And my company is called Moe and Associates, MOE, like Moe, Corley, and Larry from the Three Stooges. And people all the time look at my credit card and says, what's Moe and Associates? What's Moe stand for? Moe stands for integrity. And what that means is I'm not out here to sell you guys anything. I am not here to sell you one thing. I am here to enroll you into the possibility that you can have the most unbelievable life imaginable hopping in the foxhole with me, hopping in the foxhole with Simon Chan, because I am a master of enrollment, MOE, not sales. And once you understand that, everything changes, because people can sense your commitment to them in a world that no one else does that.
How many people do you actually reach out to every day? Like the way you pinged me, like I'm on a 60-day thing. How many people on average?
50.
50?
It takes no time. And something just happened to me that's the most magical thing on the planet. I got an infrared sauna. So I'm sitting in that infrared sauna for 1 hour a day now, sweating my face off and doing those remembers, just popping through them. All the people that I have to hit on my phone and tell them I love them and tell them I remember something about them, something that's going to make them feel better about their life. I pop out of that sauna, I go upstairs, I go back and look at the people that I'm supposed to call and actually follow up, which is a difference between remembering. I get that done first thing in the morning, and then I got a complete full slate to go change the world. So awesome. And I don't look like it. I look like I went through the car wash with my window open. I know I'm a hot mess, but I might be one of the most disciplined, organized hot messes you've ever met. I get up every morning really, really early. At 6:30 in the morning Mountain Time, I do a call. It's a motivation call that is exactly like the Seinfeld show. People come from miles around to hear their name, and it's about nothing. I just tell these people definitively that I love them in a world where no one else is doing that. I get done with that. I hop into an AA meeting, and I hit that AA meeting for an hour. And then the rest of then it's the infrared sauna and doing all that stuff. And at night, 7:00 at night, I'm back at it. I'm in another AA meeting. So I go to 2 a day, believe it or not, because I'm such a messed up person. And the reason I do it is A, to keep me sober, B, to help the still suffering alcoholic and show them that there's hope no matter what's going on in their life. And in between all that, I do everything I can to change the world. And it works, Simon. It works. I have an unbelievable life because of that.
I love the focus and the discipline, the consistency that you're very important. But how do you stay consistent? What tips, what routines, or maybe mindset or affirmations, what do you do to stay consistent?
Okay, so I don't know if you guys have read Atomic Habits. Have you read it?
No.
Got to get it. So here's the deal. Every one of you guys have cravings. And the craving might be, one of those cravings might be to not follow up. It might be a myriad of things. And as a result of the cravings, that creates an action called not doing something or picking up alcohol or whatever it is, or eating sugar. And then the third part of that is the outcome. And you get that outcome because of that three things. And James Clear from Atomic Habits says, change the cue, change the craving. So I changed all the cues in my brain, Tom Chenault. Alcohol does not look like conviviality and fun anymore. It looks like a skull and crossbone. In my brain, Tom Chenault, sugar, gluten, and carbohydrates look exactly the same way. So all of those are filed now over here. None of that stuff looks fun to Tom Chenault anymore. Inside of that, I've got the same thing built on I built the same kind of conversation about not being my word. And my word means everything to me. So I set it up in my brain like it's non-negotiable. I have got to follow up and remember people every day and stay in integrity there because I said I would do it. I've got to love you because I said I would do it. So I make the payoff. So the Q I made so big, which created the craving to serve, which created the action to serve, which created the outcome, which is unbelievable life. So what do I tell people? You want self-esteem in your life? Do esteemable things. And so I'm always in a checkpoint of, was that esteemable? Tell the truth as fast as you can. The truth is enough. The FTC doesn't like one thing about multi-level marketing, and that's income claims and health claims, not telling the truth. Become that person that tells the truth every time, and you win. Just be a good person. Doggone it. That's it. Serve, give. That's it. So simple. You'll figure out all the, you're going to go to Simon and you're going to learn it. You're going to learn the tools and the skills. But the inside job called belief and loving yourself, I got a doctorate in that.
This is my favorite question. In your 35 plus years, what is your worst moment in this profession?
I've had many worse moments. Every time somebody leaves because I didn't keep my word to being committed to them to the point that they decided to leave with all their evidence, I take really personally because when I brought them in, I made a promise to them that I was going to be their partner and serve them. And if somebody does leave, and there's a myriad of reasons they leave all away from me, but I could have solved it with enough time. That really, really troubles me, Simon. And those are horrible moments because I feel like I failed them on their dreams. And they might have had a lot to do with it. But at the end of the day, I don't like that. It bothers me. It bothers me deeply.
And how did you emotionally bounce back from that if it happens? Because a lot of people do leave, not your fault, right? With
smart question.
Back from that.
First thing I do is take responsibility for it. And then I go rewatch Brene Brown, her tremendous TED Talk on an apology, where you apologize even for what you don't know you did wrong at a level they've never heard an apology like that before. And you tell them that you are praying for them and wherever they go, they hope you're successful. But if you decide to come back, I'm leaving the light on for you. And I'm speaking inside of a conversation that's going on so much. People leave companies all the time and throw all that shade out there. That is so insane. Because if your deal is as good as you say it is, and their deal is as bad as you believe it is, if you're good to them, they're going to come crawling back with their tail between their legs. And my job is to be of service, not be of judgment. That's how I beat that.
I love that. Be of service, not of judgment. So good. Hey, you've been amazing, Tom. We're going to wrap up. And for those, stick around to the recap after I'm done with Tom and share the story and the lessons I learned from Tom when I met him in that hallway 10 years ago. I'll stick around. I'll talk about that in the recap. But Tom, thank you so much. As we go towards the end of the show, really quick questions to pick your brain. And these can be quick one-sentence, one-liners. The first one is, what is one of your favorite success quotes that motivates you?
Chad Williams. Sean Murphy called him up and said, I want to send him to Colorado and have you help him out. Chad came up for 3 months. He stayed for 3 years. He turned into a communicating, incredible human being. He just made a tremendous amount of money in a network marketing deal. And I'm most proud of him because he was such a long shot.
How about your favorite quote? I mean, not your favorite moment, your favorite quote.
Oh my gosh.
But that's a cool story. Like, Tom is just full of amazing stories, like a cliffhanger. Like, what the heck happened?
Sorry, I'm a terrible listener, but it was a great story. My favorite quote is love like crazy, then love more. Fire your brain, hire your heart.
Yeah, fire your brain, hire your heart. What is one habit that's helped you become successful?
Stop lying to yourself.
What's
That's
the best? What's the best piece of advice you ever received?
quit comparing myself to people that I thought I wanted to be like and start loving and building the machine God made called Tom Chenault.
What's your favorite prospecting tool? Say someone is interested. Do you get on a Zoom with them? Do you meet them face to face? Do you talk on the phone? What do you like?
The coffee shop interview, because no one does it. If you think I'm kidding, think about what your upline knows about you. And if you think I'm kidding, look at the 4 people underneath you and what do you really know about them except that they make you money?
Get to know people. That's the key. And I will put a link to the coffee shop interview on the show notes. What's your favorite app on your phone that's not contact mapping, now site, or face or social media app?
My favorite app would be on the front page. And that's a great question. None of the above, other than, it's about the people. It's not about an app. I cannot answer that question. I'm flabbergasted. I can't answer it. I don't. SendHype. Do you know SendHype?
Mm-mm.
Oh my gosh. SendHype is $30 for life, which is the cheapest. It's unbelievable. And I tell people about SendHype that are really technologically advanced. They say that's impossible. But I send out my gratitude list every day in AA. I mean, I do. I build it. If anybody wants to see it, if you want to see it, every day I do a gratitude list and I send it out to 188 people. And at the top of it, it's got their name. And then it's what I'm grateful for today, what I'm dealing with today with vulnerability. And every one of those 188 people think it came from me, just to them. That's SendHype. It is unbelievable. And you got to get SendHype. Buy it. I don't make any money on it. I don't know how they make money. It's the greatest app on the planet.
What are 2 or 3 books you could recommend?
My favorite book is The Power of Who by Bob Bodine, most powerful man in the National Football League you've never heard of. The second one is Who Not How by a guy named Dr. Ben Hardy, who is exactly the same way. They're all about the relationships that you need in your life you already know, and stop looking for complete strangers because it's insanity. Don't do it. Those are my 2 favorite books.
And here's the last question, the $1 million question. You ready?
Yeah.
So imagine you had to start all over again and you knew no one. You didn't know your beautiful wife, Denise. You didn't know your kids. You didn't know Adrian, but you had all your current knowledge, skills, and wisdom. What's the first thing you do or the first place you go to build a network marketing business from scratch?
Great question. I just moved to Niwot, Colorado. I figured out that I wanted to meet everybody in that town over 55 years old. I wanted to meet the people that were interested in business, that were interested in health and the outdoors. I did a query. I got 41 names. I wrote them all in a letter after doing a personality assessment on them. And I said, I am Tom Chenault. I just moved to Niwot. I need more friends. I'd love to buy your breakfast at Niwot Market because it's under $10. It's the best breakfast you've ever had in your life. Of the 41 names, 36 of them said, I'll do it. First guy was a guy that was a venture capitalist that lived in New York City. He owned 23 signed Picassos, a car collection, a shotgun collection, and a wristwatch collection. And he was absolutely lonely, sick as a dog, and said, I would do anything to have something to do. I moved to Boulder, Colorado to be near my grandkids. I'm miserable. I miss my life in New York City as a big businessman. What can I do? And I said, I have an idea for you. Why don't you partner with me and change the world? And that's what we're doing. Because awesome. I went to my community. I told people I was lonely. I needed friends. And I could not believe how many people were that were lonely and needed friends with me. And that's what I did. And any one of you can do that. I can teach you how.
How did you run the Curry? What did you use to run the Curry? I can ask you. I know how. But
so ask Simon about NowSite.
Yes.
It's so crazy. I can't
crazy
believe
stuff.
People don't do it. 2 billion people in the database. You could put a microscope on every industry, every country, every person. It's crazy. And it costs nothing.
We'll put a link on the show notes page. There's this message. We'll follow Tom. We'll put his profiles on social media and you reach out to him. Hey, and
by the way, Simon, I was so hesitant because I don't like pitching. I just want you to do it because you're 100 times better. I want to make sure that I am not betraying any conversation that you've already trained elsewhere. You are amazing. And the only reason I'm on here is to help you be more in the world because I'm 73 years old and we need people like you badly to help people fight through all the noise to get to integrity and self-esteem and honesty. And if I look those things up in the dictionary, I get Simon Chan's picture.
Thank you so much. Hey, you said you reached 41. You said 41. How many said yes?
36.
36 people.
36 people had a cup of coffee. They wanted the free breakfast. We were all in the same boat, man. We're just a bunch of guys that had a great story that the world has forgotten about. And I'm the happiest guy in the world. Now I got 36 new friends, a bunch of people taking some vitamins and minerals, and a ton of people that want to build a little business, and a lot of people that want to be connected to people like me. It's unbelievable. I sold him me, not it.
Hey, as we wrap up, any last words of advice, Tom? And then what's the best way our listeners can connect with you?
Through Simon Chan. And go to Simon. You can go to the thecoffeeshopinterview.com. That will go straight to me as far as information. But I just go through Simon and say, I love that guy. I want to meet him. I want to talk to him. He doesn't have a brain in his head, but he seems to have a big heart. Please give me his phone number. Simon will do it, and that will be fantastic.
MLM Nation, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And today you've been hanging with the legend, Tom Chenault. So keep up the momentum. Go to MLMNation.com, click on the podcast tab, and all those nuggets of wisdom, the apps, the coffee shop interview, all the stuff that Tom talked about, including the social media profiles. Definitely go follow him. Will be listed right there. Hey, in order to be successful in life and business and network marketing, you must help others. So Tom, thanks again for sharing your valuable time with MLM Nation. We're grateful to you. And we appreciate you for having a positive impact on millions of distributors worldwide. Thank you so much again, and God bless you.
I love you, Simon. Hug the family. Thank you for what you did for my son. As you know, your children and your grandkids are the most important things to you, and you made a difference with them. I'll never forget it. I'll see you later.
Hey, MLM Nation, amazing show for my dear friend, Tom Chenault. I still remember the first episode I did because it required numerous follow-up. And I'll just share with you how we met. Hey, by the way, if you love this, please, even if you don't like it, hey, this took a lot of Tom's time. He doesn't need to do this. He has all the money and the influence. He's a legend, made over 8 figures in the proof. I don't want to say I want to put on record, but definitely millions of dollars in commissions, very influential. It's got a lot of influence in the whole direct selling profession, widely respected by everyone. I haven't met anyone that doesn't like him. And his son is incredible too, Adrian. But please subscribe, follow him, subscribe to this on the YouTube channel, subscribe to us on your podcast, leave us a review as well. We really mean a lot, really, really appreciate it. Hey, this also, the reason I'm asking you for this, not just to give some love back to Tom, but really I help lift up the profession. Right? Sometimes the profession seems to have a lot of, talk about hope and belief. People losing belief, losing hope, a lot of negativity out there. Give us some more positive reviews. Just give us the review, right? That even if you don't like it as much, give us a review because that helps lift this show up so that people have a better awareness of what network marketing is and not just see all the negative stuff out there. So please, really appreciate it. Subscribe to us on the YouTube channel, also on your favorite podcast platform, and leave us a review. So when we first started, I reached out to, when we started the show in 2015, or just 9.5 years ago, like no one knew, by the way, no one did interviews like the way we were doing. Okay. That's my vision at that time. Now people were doing it outside of network marketing, but no one in direct selling was doing interviews. So I wanted to be a pioneer. I wanted to do it. I started it. And like Tom Chenault, but way back in 2014, when I started planning the season, asking people, and Tom Chenault was one of the people I had to get on the show. So at that time, I think I may have reached out to him, but I'm like a nobody. There's so many people who are, they're fired up one day and they're gone the next day. And successful people, one thing I learned is they test you to see whether you'll last. If you're not going to last, then I'm not going to waste my time on it. So anyway, to meet Tom, he wasn't replying back. I knew one way, the best way was to go to an event. So I went to the ANMP event in 2015, and I saw him. I was basically in the hallway talking to some people and basically stalking, looking for leaders. And when I saw him, I immediately went like a beeline, went straight to him, and I had like a little pitch. I even had a mock website at the time, what it's going to look like, introduced myself and talked to him. Actually, when I met him in 2015, we actually had like about 12 episodes, 14 episodes out already. So something like that, maybe under 20 episodes, right? But we had a couple episodes. I showed him my vision, my excitement. I sat next to him in the back of the room and he gave me his number. He said, you call me anytime, I'll do something anytime for you, Simon, right? So I reached out to him immediately after the event and he didn't reply back. He said, sure. And I said, here's the link to schedule. And he never scheduled. And it really took 1 year before I got him on the show. So when I reached out to him in the beginning, no reply. When I met him in person, it was probably episode 20. I didn't get him on until episode 200. But when he went on, he delivered. In fact, that episode was so good, we rebroadcast it 2 times. You want to find the original, go to the MLM Nation archives. That is where you can find it. A lot of the legends are there. Well, we've had so many episodes that Apple forced us to create a separate podcast at that time for technical reasons. So there's 2 MLM Nations, the MLM Nation original and the MLM Nation archives. So, but I think that's a lesson for you to know that people, successful people look at your consistency, right? I always talk about you don't need success, but you do need your change. People buy your change, your commitment, and your consistency. If you are not consistent, you're not committed, people are not going to be there. And it took like over a year after I met Tom for him to come on the episode 200. And that was a classic interview. And over the years, we became great friends. He introduced me to his son, who's at my age. We instantly clicked. He has got 3 kids. I got 3 kids. I've been hanging out with them at the Leaders Mastermind with Rob Sperry, which, by the way, everyone of you definitely need to go. You got to go there. And even if you, you need to be a 6-figure earner to go. If you're not a 6-figure earner, that should be your motivation. And if you are one, reach out to me, and I definitely can give you. I'll give you an in, okay? Because there is Rob doesn't take everyone. They're very small, about anywhere from like 8 people to 15 people. The biggest one I went to was like maybe 15, 16 people. But it was a great time, and I got to meet Adrian. But that's networking. I think that's the thing that's helped me is thinking long term. Tom's never really given me any business. And I guess maybe I've given a little bit of his business to him, but it's just providing value, right? Value. And then I'm not expecting anything because Tom, even if he never gave me any business, I just love him for who he is. He puts a smile on my face. He's asking me about my kids. He comments on my posts about baseball, right? He gives thanks. And I think going back to this, so many ways to give value. Your value doesn't need to be related to your business. It could be anything you're good at. Reach out to someone, but you got to play the long-term game. Right? If you focus on people, like the 2 things in this interview is people who are successful, they give value. They never really ask. Tom has never asked me for really anything. Giving value. And number 2 is they're excellent storytellers. If you look at Tom, amazing storytellers. And so this profession is awesome, but you do need to be patient. It's not get rich quick. Focus on, I think the world right now wants me, quick. And you may have some quick success, but never, it's like what do you call it? Like a quick hit and then you're done, right? Like a dopamine hit and you're done. It doesn't last. In many ways, you wasted more time than you did and you haven't earned that much. It's just a series of letdowns because you're thinking short term. And anything that lasts is long term. And, is after, I'm just so proud. I can go on and on. Like, I love Tom Chenault. Amazing. I love what he said is, what at the end, his quote, and he shared this at the mastermind too, is like, wait a second. Let me pull this quote out there. Is like, love like crazy and then love even more, right? And then fire your brain and hire your heart. Fire your brain. You think I got to make money. Fire that brain and love, and hire your heart. Heart of being caring, love it. And end of the day, those are the things that not just make money, but more importantly, makes you fulfilled and happy. So I can go on and on. Follow Tom Chenault, amazing individual. I have put all his notes, including you talk about how he ran that query. I have a link for that in the show notes page, or just message me on social media. I'll send you the link and how he does that. Anyway, that's it. Go make sure to go love on Tom Chenault and subscribe, leave us a review on the podcast, apply what you learned, think long-term, and go out there and have a positive impact on someone's life. God bless you all.